There we go. We got it. All right. Hey, Ed, thanks again for coming on and talking with me.
Of course. Thank you, Nate, for having me.
Excellent. Like I ask everybody, if you can tell me your name, your stage name, if you have one, and if you can describe your artistry and what you do.
Yeah. So my name is Edwin Walker. Stage name is Ed Wynn. That's Edwynn. So I'm an event producer slash curator. I do events throughout the Los Angeles area. Now I'm actually taking it outside of just California and outside the US. Just had a few events in London and Paris, which did pretty successful. And yeah, right now I'm just traveling with my events, but I've been doing my events for now almost 3 years now. Outside of that, my day job or my 9 to 5 is working in education. I work at the University of Southern California. I oversee all the pre-college programs, helping students get into college.
That's pretty awesome. It's like you're really giving back in every way possible.
Yeah, I try to.
Excellent. If we talk about the club scene for you, it's more of a nightclub vibe that you try to bring and curate here in Los Angeles, correct?
Correct. Correct.
Excellent. What brought this about? What gap in the market were you intending to fill?
So when I started it, it was just at the tip of when everything was starting to open after COVID. Doors were starting to open and the world was starting to open up again. But I believe at that point, people were looking for somewhere to go, looking for direction, looking for community, looking for spaces to commune and just be with other people. And so where it actually started was home for me. I would do events at the house during COVID sorry, not during COVID when we couldn't when we couldn't be around others, but right one time when things were starting to open up a bit.
I don't believe you. I think you was at the house at COVID, having COVID parties.
Having COVID
Don't try to
parties.
correct it now. No, it's all good.
So yeah, so I mean, it basically started here at the house, and they started as holiday events. So I would do Valentine's events, and I would do Christmas events, and Fourth of July, or whatever it was. And people were just it was starting to get kind of ridiculous at one point. I think it got to about 500 people here at the house, and I realized that this is something that people just want to do. That people want to be around each other. They want to socialize, especially for being without it for the past two years, basically. What we kind of went through was about almost 2 years, and I decided to just make it bigger and start going to venues. So in that way they can have a space to do it, outside of outside of the house. And it kind of took off from there. It started off as a success, to be honest, which I'm very fortunate about. But I just believe that people just really needed the space to just be around each other, and they kind of missed it. And so from that moment, it just really took off.
What was the demographic of people you were inviting and having over?
So it's funny because in the beginning it's different. So the demographics of the people that's come to the events have changed over the course, or not changed. It's kind of evolved, I guess, in the course of the couple of years. But initially, what we started off is really just close friends, and close friends were predominantly Black gay men, and I believe that during that time, I think that people were kind of just gotten somewhat bored with just going to West Hollywood as that being the only space to attend. And so what I did was I would start to provide, these events in different places. I had them in Beverly Hills, I had them downtown, I had them in Hollywood. And I think that one thing that people appreciated was because gave them a different scene and gave them a different outlet to be somewhere and to be amongst other people and be like, okay, we don't have to just hide in West Hollywood.
Okay. What do you believe is the magic sauce that keeps people coming?
The magic sauce. Let's see what the magic sauce would be. I think the magic sauce is probably just if I if I'm being completely, I think honestly, the magic sauce was keeping people around being around like-minded people, right? Being around the same people that look like you, and you want to do that. You want to be around those same people. Look like you want to be around people that look good. You want to be around people that, that favor you, and people that, I think that's what kept people, especially in the very beginning, is what I think that was kind of the sauce of just being around amongst those people.
Okay. I can see how that can be a little bit complicated question. I get it. The reason why I ask because you've been able to successfully do it for 2 years. And
Yeah.
so the thing is, how are you able to keep that going and keep people interest? I know I would say one of the keys is your text messaging. You keep in constant communication with that demographic. And also it invites others. So once you have somebody locked in, they sign up for Eventbrite or however you get their numbers, they're locked in.
No, I agree. I think that's one thing that I take with stride is my marketing techniques. I think the way I go about my marketing techniques is very unique and different from where everyone else is trying to reach out to other people, right? As far as the way I capture your attention. And then what you read is like, oh, okay, let me sign up for this. Sounds kind of cool. But also I forgot to mention, I think also, not to sound conceited, but I think that I put a lot of time and effort into the events that I curate. My events are not just some space that I just open up and say, "Hey, come here." I think there's a lot of intention into the things that I do, and that's just the venue space of where it's located. That's from the decorations. I've spent over $6,000 for per event just just in decorations, and I think people actually see that and they see that, okay, this isn't just a party. It's more than that. It's a space with intention. It's a space for gathering. It's a space for us to feel like, especially, feel like the white people in Hollywood, because, I'm giving the effects, I'm giving the screens, I'm giving everything. And it's like, I wanted to provide that space to where we don't have to be a part of their space to experience that. We can have a space of our own in order to get that.
Okay. I'm gonna spin the block on a question. I basically asked you about the demographic, which is my professional way of saying, who all over there? You know? So
Right.
you told me it was mostly your close friends, but you said it changed, but I'm not quite sure if I understood who it changed to.
Right. So I believe well, as the parties have grown, let's say they started from house parties to 500 people, and then from that, it's even starting from the venues, it started as 500 people. But from that, the word gets out. These are great parties. This is what's happening over here. And it's grown tremendously where it's like it's kind of stepped into other demographics as well. So I think I was very also intentional with wanting to see, 'cause I wanted to check something out and I wanted to see how it could be with a space where everyone's included, right? So it's not just the black gay men. Let's incorporate some of the lesbians too. Also feel left out. Let's incorporate some of the white people. Let's incorporate some of the straights. And so it's got
I didn't say anything.
you didn't have to. Your face did. No, but I think it's grown so much. And what I appreciate is that with including others, right? Because we can't cry for inclusivity when we're excluding others all the time. When I feel like with including, I get to see and witness how alike we actually are. And so I think that's one thing that really stuck to me. And I was like, I kind of like this. We can all be in one space and be intentional about it. I don't know many event producers or promoters who intentionally want that. I mean, I have friends from many different demographics, right? Whether they're straight, gay, black, white. And no one's intention is to have it bring everybody together. As a straight party promoter, why to them, why would I want to incorporate the gays into my party? As a white party promoter, it's like, everybody has their own reasons of why not to include, right? But I kind of want to step aside from that and see how that looked. And I mean, it's worked. And so, that's something I kind of appreciate because I don't know many other people who are doing that.
You know what? Success is success. So I commend you on your success, and that's why we're talking here. When it comes to a mission, I think that's going to be the next question that I want to ask you. Like, what is your mission? But before we go there, let me kind of address something real quickly. Like, for me, I am what you call a journalist, right? I'm a writer. This is what I do every single week. I go out, find and brilliant, intelligent people like yourself, and I bring them usually in front of a camera some way, somehow, or at least some type of mic so I can record it. And we have a intellectual fun conversation.
Mm.
Absolutely. And 99% of those people are black. There's enough black people for me to talk to and continuously talk to that I know my demographics. So I know, of course, at some point I'm gonna have to branch out, and I think that's what you're doing. So I understand that. I'm laughing and I'm chuckling. I get it. You're still, and that's kind of where we kind of talk about the mission. Like, no matter where I go in my career, I know that I'm always serving my black populace. I'm always trying to ensure that I am leaning with the black voice because I am black and I go black first continuously. So it's great if people want to immerse themselves in the conversation, but I will say I'm always talking to my black people.
Right. And that's totally understood. I mean, even with myself, right? Like you mentioned, black first. I'm always a black first. It's just that I've learned not to shut people if they want to be included, right? So it's not saying that, oh, this is a white party or this is for, straight party goers. It's our space. But if you want to be a part of it, it's fine. I would never shut anyone out.
I'm gonna say this and then we're gonna ask your mission. I do not believe those are mutually exclusive. It's okay to be black first. That does not automatically equate to exclusivity. It does not. What it says is that you are focused, you are targeted, you are curating an event. Any event has to curate to someone somehow. So I'm saying that it's okay to curate an event with some type of intentionality. It does not mean that you are excluding someone else, right? So I do want us to ensure that those are two different thoughts. And that's part of what I do with my messaging here.
Okay.
So if you can tell me, what is your mission here for Edwin Presents?
So I believe my overall mission is just to gather people together. I love the idea, like I mentioned before, I love the idea of community, love the idea of people being able to express themselves freely, being able to be one, the center of attention in ways that they're sometimes not, focused on, right, in their everyday lives. And to be in a space where they can become the concert of their own, right? Where they can come laugh, dance, mingle, and meet other people. I think that's generally what I want from people who are coming to these events. I've had people who come and they've met their partners, right? They've met their best friends, and I think that that's what brings me joy out of doing what I do.
I love that. If you can have an event placed in any location, any vendor, where would you go?
In Los Angeles?
Yes.
What? I would really love to bring events to Inglewood if I'm not, if I'm,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I,
Nice.
and I say that because I remember when I was in high school, because I grew up here, I'm from here, born and raised in Inglewood, and there was this place, the Annex in Inglewood, and I remember just being around that area where it's like now because it may sound like I'm going back and forth, but because now Inglewood has become very gentrified, right? And to have a space where, it brings back that blackness in a way to where we can have that space there in Inglewood, I would definitely love that.
Okay. There's so many theaters and so many spaces. I see them all the time. That's right there in Inglewood. I spend a lot of time in coffee shops. And of course, I'm always in Inglewood. I mean, where do you think I get so many stories from? It is hard for me. Every week I'm in Crenshaw, Inglewood, Compton, every single week. But ironically, I live here in Hollywood,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you would never know. Where do you live? Are you here in Hollywood or
I live in Inglewood.
Ed? I'm feeling some type of way. It's literally
I
I'm the
know,
one who
right?
has to go to your space every single week, but you're right there and you're like, no, I'm not going to reach out to these people. No, I'm not going to see, or no, they're not reaching out to you back.
No, so I have no problem reaching out to people, right? And I've had the opportunity. There's this new bar, the space in Inglewood. It's fairly new. It's off of, I don't know, I forget.
Issa Rae Place.
No, 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 not that one. But there's a spot near the swap meet, basically. And so I've actually been in talks with him for doing it. And I definitely somewhere I can start. It's a smaller venue. I like bigger venues, but there's also a new spot that I'm actually reaching out to here in Inglewood to try to bring something big out here too. So
Okay, we've been talking a lot, but I do need to go ahead and get you back on track, get myself back on track. Can you tell me The first event that I went to was Barbie. I'm starting to act like this is a podcast. To me, it feels like a podcast. I'm so used to doing interviews, podcasts, that's why I'm doing this interaction. Okay. So the first event of yours that I went to was the Barbie themed. So I
Okay.
see that you have like these themes, but when I went inside, it didn't look very Barbie to me. So tell me, how do you? That wasn't like a disc. I was
No,
actually
no, it's fine.
happy because it was everybody was there. So I assumed that it was more of a costume, like you were supposed to be able to come dressed in that. So how do you like align the themes? Is it like in the decorations? Is it in the costumes? What do you expect for the patrons to understand about the themes?
So usually whenever I do a themed event, it's about how you come, right? So Barbie theme was pink. If you have to wear pink. So that was it. That was the idea for the people to come in as pink. But I don't know if you saw, but we had the Barbie boxes, we had the Ken and the Barbies throughout. I don't know if you saw that.
Okay.
But yeah. So I mean, from my end, it's the decorations. What I always do. So I always put pieces of whatever that theme is what I'm placing into it. I've done Kingdom, which was our animal print party, right? Where everybody wore animal print. And throughout, it was literally a jungle. I created the entire jungle. I
Nice.
got trees from Home Depot and got like live trees, and I got these mannequin animals that were like 7 feet tall. And so, I placed them throughout the venue. But yeah, so for my end, what I do is I'm always placing, the decorations, and however I'm unfortunately you can see the Barbie stuff.
It's on me. I don't remember seeing it, but I was focused on like other things because it was one of my first big parties here in Hollywood going to see. So it
Okay.
wasn't on you.
No, no worries. No worries. But yeah, usually when, 'cause I love a theme. And so I'm asking people to come as dressed up in their theme. And, a lot of people, they really do it. So,
Okay. What was the first party that you threw that wasn't at your house that was successful, or just the first one, period?
yeah. So the first one that I did was actually downtown. It was called the Celebrities Party, right? And so the Celebrities Party was it's like Celebr-tees, like t-shirts. So you wore you basically wore your concert t-shirt, right? Whoever your favorite celebrity was, you wore them on a t-shirt. And that was pretty dope because literally everybody wore their t-shirts, whether it was Beyonce, Jay-Z, Nas, Little Nas X, or whoever it was. That was the first one. So it was no decoration thing because that was my very first one. It was at a bar. It was like 300 people capacity, so I couldn't do too much with the decorations, but it was what you came in, right? And so that was the very first one. It was in downtown Los Angeles.
How did you get your sponsorship? Who did you reach out to?
No sponsorships.
No?
No.
How long did you do it before you received your first sponsorship?
Oh, I literally got my first sponsorship last year. So it took about a year and a half to get the first sponsorship, and that sponsorship it was honestly through a grant. I applied for a grant, and that was through West Hollywood. They had given me $15,000 to do an event, and so that's when I did an event. And it was in West Hollywood actually. That was a really great event. I did a Juneteenth / Pride event that I did there. Yeah, so I mean, I don't have too much sponsorship. A lot of it's coming out of my own pocket.
And you can make it and flip it.
Yes. So I can make it and flip it, and so typically the way it's been running as until recently is that each party is paid for the next one.
Mm.
So now I've gotten a little better with managing it and seeing how I can actually make a profit from it, right? But yeah. So every party has been able to pay for the next one.
Excellent. There are three events that I need to throw next month. Like literally, I need to throw it. One is a book signing, a book release. One is the future icons, and another is a panel that I would like to have. The panel isn't a guarantee, but I think it's the one that will possibly have the most sponsor if sponsors are interested. What
Okay.
advice would you give me? Because I haven't sent out any proposal, and it's like next month. What advice would you give to myself and people like me?
But do you have venue already?
Not locked in. That's part of the sponsorship.
Okay, yeah, okay. So I would definitely say if you can lock in the sponsorship, dealing with the venues, there's so many different aspects to working with venues. So sometimes you have to go based off of how they run their own venue space. So dealing with them first, making sure that that's done first, and then reaching out through your marketing. I think the marketing is number one when it comes to doing events, and it's how you market. And so finding that way of reaching your people to get there. And so I think one thing that I did mine was through promo videos and through word of mouth, but also just making sure that it's reaching the people that you really want to be there. Because that's number one. The people are what's going to make the event, right? So you have to make sure that your marketing and your word of getting out to them is on key.
Love that. Excellent. And any advice for anyone who's wanting to have a good time out here in Los Angeles? I know you're not throwing any events here in July, but you are coming back in August.
Correct. Yeah. So if you are here, I mean, definitely, I have friends who are doing events. Always check out Brandon Anthony's event. There's other events that are happening throughout. If you're looking for something in July, if you're coming for 4th of July, that's Black Pride. So check out the Brandon Anthony stuff. But I will be back in August with doing events back in the city. I will probably do a weekly again of R&B for those who are looking for R&B events, and more of a bi-weekly hip hop event. But yeah, I have a number of people who I always, promote their stuff as well because I won't be here. But always, you can feel free to check out the page, Edwin Presents, and I'm always posting things that, you guys can look out for.